Okay, guys, welcome everyone brave enough to venture here to Honeychild RTS. This is a new channel. I wanted to start this channel because it looks like we kind of find ourselves in a little bit of an RTS renaissance. A lot of games coming out, real-time strategy games. I've been a long-time player of real-time strategy games, big-time fan. I remember Warcraft 2. I remember, of course, Brood War coming out. I played Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2, a little bit of Age of Empires here and there. So I've been a long-time fan of real-time strategy. And like I said, it looks like we're entering sort of a new era of the game that's been sort of pushed to the side for a while now. We've got Stormgate coming up, which I'm a backer of and participated in a couple versions of that beta. Here we are with BattleAces, which I'm going to go over here briefly in this video, just kind of give a layout of generally how the game functions and my thoughts on it as well. So Stormgate BattleAces, I believe the beta for Age of Empires Mythology, the mythological Age of Empires game. Again, my Age of Empires knowledge isn't the best. The beta for that started a couple days ago. Interested in that as well. Some other games, Tempest Rising, and a few other ones as well coming out. So a good time to be a real-time strategy fan. So here we have the beta for BattleAces, which ends tomorrow, July the 15th. I've had it for a couple of weeks now. And I've been hitting the 1v1 ladder pretty hard, just made top ace today. Here are basically kind of here is the ranking system currently for BattleAces, not unlike StarCraft 2, some differences of course, iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, emerald, diamond, and top ace at 7,000 plus. And definitely an emphasis on the plus because I've seen the top players with in excess of I think 10, 12, 13,000 MMR. So certainly plus is a factor, but made top ace today. So again, I thought I'd just kind of share my thoughts on the game. So what's different about this versus traditional RTS? A lot. And really kind of the best way I can describe this game kind of quickly would be take real-time strategy and turn it into an arcade game. It's very, very fast-paced. The macro mechanics are simplified. There's a lot of just sort of general control simplification, but particularly in terms of macro, the way the economy works. You don't really build workers. So it's very fast. It's very quick-paced. It's very arcade-like. It almost sort of reminds me of like a fighting game. Sort of those old-school traditional fighting games like Street Fighter, like Mortal Kombat, like Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, games like that. It's very momentum, it's very quick, it's very swingy, and it's been a lot of fun. So kind of getting into it here, we have, you basically get into this and you have what is called your unit deck, and you have these 8 different slots, and in each one of these slots, you can choose a card. And that card essentially represents a unit. These two on the end over here are what are called your core units, or what is called the core unit slot. And you're putting in 2 core units. Think of the core units as being sort of your tier 1 when you put it in terms of StarCraft or Warcraft 3. It's that early tech, the beginning of the game type of tech. Right, so things like Zerglings, things like Marines, things like Archers from Warcraft. Okay, so those like early low-tech units where you haven't really committed to advancing to tier 2 or anything like that. So basically the idea behind this is that you've got this 8-slot deck with these 8 different cards, and each one of these cards represents a unit, and each unit is different. And they simplify this and made it very easy kind of to read here. So for example, I've been playing Scorpion. For almost the majority of the time that I've been laddering, I was a Wasp player. In StarCraft and StarCraft 2, I mained Zerg. So Wasp was very familiar to me. It's very fast, very cheap, very quick unit, not unlike Zergling. But once I got up to about 6,800 MMR, I felt like I had to switch to Scorpion. So you take a look at these units, and kind of over here on the bottom right of the kind of the unit portrait, they've got these different stats: health, damage, speed, and range. So you can sort of very quickly get kind of a visual of what are this unit's strengths, what are its weaknesses. Is it fast? Is it sort of all around? Does it hit air? Does it not hit air? Right? Does it shoot up? Does it not? That kind of thing. So these are all the core units, and like I said, I've been running Scorpion and I believe Hornet as well, which is an anti-air unit. So you start off with your 2 core units, your 2 cards in that slot, right? And then basically you kind of have 2 paths to go. You can go Foundry, and these 3 units at the top here, Destroyer, Heavy Ballista, and King Crab, are what are called Foundry units. And then the other tech path that you can go is Starforge, which Starforge, that's where you're getting your flying units from. And when you're in game, you're kind of deciding which path are you going to go. Are you going to go Foundry? Or are you going to go Starforge at first? You can go both. It is possible to go both. Like, say, for example, I went Foundry first. So when I get to that tier 2, I would have access to the Destroyer and the King Crab, which are Foundry units. But you also have what is called an Advanced Foundry unit, and this would be considered a tier 3 unit, essentially. And what I have slotted in there is the Heavy Ballista, anti-ground, splash ground unit. Basically, really thick boy that does splash damage. If you can get these guys on the field, they do a lot of damage. So it's interesting because you have these 8 different slots, and it forces you to make decisions in game very quickly, because you kind of have a limited pool from which to choose, and you have to decide, okay, which way am I going? Am I going Starforge? Am I going Foundry? What's my opponent doing? Based off what he chooses, maybe I choose X, Y, and Z. So there's this kind of counterplay that's involved with the units. When I first started, like I said, I was a Wasp player, so I had Wasp here, and I think over here I had the Bomber, which is essentially anybody who's played StarCraft 2. Zerg would recognize this as essentially being a Baneling. So you've got your Zergling S unit, you've got your Baneling S unit, you've got your Dragonflies, which are not unlike Mutas in a lot of different ways. High mobility, can hit both ground and air. So initially when I was playing in King Crabs, right, which are a Foundry unit, which aren't unlike Ultralists in a way, right? High health, high damage. They have this kind of cleave splash attack. So I built this deck that felt very familiar in a way, and the way that it controlled, the way that it played, very Zerg-like. And I played, honestly, the majority of my time in this game was using that deck construction, that deck configuration. But like I said, I did switch over from Wasp to the Scorpion. I felt like I just kind of needed to change it up. Wasps, I guess, were nerfed a week and a half ago, something like that. I believe they reduced the damage to workers. I was like, I don't care. I'm still playing Wasps. They're fun. They're fast. I like the ability to scout with them, etc. But like I said, I did switch over to Scorpions in that slot. And also, what did I have? Yeah, Destroyers in the slot as well. So the cool thing about this, again, is it forces you to make some decisions with this really limited pool of units for you to work with. There is a system in the game. If you'll notice up here, this 61,750. So I have a lot of war credits. I haven't actually spent a lot of my money because I've been playing sort of the same composition, sort of stubbornly maybe. So what happens whenever you win a game, you'll win, or even lose a game, you'll gain what is called some of these war credits, and it's sort of the economy system that allows you to unlock other units in the game. So you'll start with kind of this limited pool, like, so for example, the turret I haven't unlocked yet, right? I'm unowned. But I can purchase it, right, for 400 credits. And this is just, right, again, the currency that I've accumulated up over the time that I've been playing the game. So I could purchase the turret, right, and now it's available to me, and I can use that unit in one of those Foundry slots if I wanted to. And a turret does essentially exactly what you think it would. It's a defensive structure. It doesn't move, as you can see. It's got no speed. It's a stationary kind of defensive thing. So again, you can kind of cater your play style how you like to play based off your selection of units, or the selection of units is going to kind of inform how you should play it. So yeah, eight slots, essentially 2 tech paths, the Foundry and the Starforge, 2 or 3 different tiers of tech. Tech 1 being or the beginning of the game with the core units, and then Tech 2 unlocking a couple or maybe even just one of those Tier 2 Foundry and Starforge units, and then moving into the Tier 3, which in my example here is the Heavy Ballista for Foundry, and then the Valkyrie, which is kind of a higher health, can hit basically up and down, flying unit, very tanky kind of flying unit. So that's one of the significant differences between this game versus something like StarCraft 2, that you have this very limited pool of units, of cards. There's some definite decision making that needs to be made quickly. But again, I emphasize kind of how quick this game, how fast it is. As I kind of go through this, at the end of this overview of kind of the UI and the way this works, I'm going to go ahead and tack on a couple of games of me playing at that top ace level. I played games right as I got at 7,000. I played a couple of games, so you can actually see some in-game application of this. Really quickly, in 1v1 currently, there's only one map. And I would think, I don't know, I haven't been super active on the Reddit for BattleAces, but I would think that there are other maps planned in the future for 1v1. 2v2, I believe there's only one map as well. As you can see, I haven't played a lot of 2v2. I think I played the total of 2 games. So currently one map for 1v1. I would say chances are pretty good. There will be more as it moves forward into different versions of the beta, or when it gets to early access. In terms of the visual style of the game, whenever you first load the game, it has this pretty cool sci-fi anime intro type of thing. The art it's really cool. The music is pumping. It's kind of like this metal, kind of get you going type of music. Again, sort of emphasizing that fast-paced arcade-like quality to it, which I like. I think the visuals work. They're nice. It's a very clean-looking game, and like I said, if you stick around after the overview, you'll see some in-game footage of me playing. Very clean game. I think the thing that I love the most, though, is the audio in the game. The voices for the units are just great. They're spot on. They just sound like what they should, right? If that makes sense. Like, based off their appearance, they really do sound excellent. I think the music is very cool. Kind of gets the blood flowing again. That fast-paced arcade type feel. The control has been a little bit of a work in progress. I think they implemented a few changes in the latest patch. Some of the targeting stuff was a little wonky, where units would prioritize certain other units that you would almost never want to happen, based like on how close it was. Dragonflies, for example, playing against somebody who's going like mortars, you'd fly your dragonflies into their composition, into their army, and you want to get those mortars down, right, with the dragonflies, but your dragonflies would be hitting, their scorpions or their crabs or whatever it is they're playing. But I think they addressed that a little bit. Probably still a little bit of area for improvement in terms of control, but visuals very cool. Overall, I love the audio. I think the audio is fantastic, and I have no doubt that the control will be tightened up as they get into different iterations of the beta. Just kind of a recap, or my general overall thoughts of the game. This is one of those games where I always needed one more, right? I'd play for an hour, I'd play for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and every time I'd end a game, I'm like, I don't think I'm done. Let me just do one more. These games are fast-paced. The game starts at 10 minutes and it counts down. I would say on average game length is probably something like 4.5, 5 minutes, something like that. So they're very, very quick. You can get a lot of games in quickly, and like I said, this was very much like that when you open up that bag of potato chips and you just keep eating them. You know, even when you're done, you have another one, you have another one. This game is a lot like that, in that I found myself just wanting to play another one, which I think is a very good indicator that the game is very addictive. It's very fun. I mentioned several times about how fast the game is. It's simplified again in terms of the macro, in terms of unit construction, and certainly in terms of way the economy works. There is an economy in the game, which you'll see here in just a second with the games that I play. But overall, super excited for the game. This will definitely be in the rotation for me with Stormgate and Age of Mythology as well, and potentially some other RTS games. So if you liked the video, like and subscribe. I'm hoping to do, as soon as I can, more content for BattleAces. Like I said, the beta's going to be shut down tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be invited back again for future versions of the beta to test that out. Super excited for the game, and yeah, thank you. And like I said, I'll follow this up with 2 top ace level games. All right. Queuing up a game here. I'm just going to provide a little bit of light analysis, a little bit of narration as we're looking at 2 replays here. One win, 1 loss. Just kind of maybe briefly talk about why I won one, why I lost the second one. All right, here we go.
Enemy is building a resource base warmed up and
that little menu that you see popping up with the different unit, that's basically the construction of myself and my opponent. So by pushing spacebar, and I don't know why, it took me forever. It took me dozens of games to realize this, but if you push spacebar, it will actually bring up the information in terms of what units you have in your deck, what unit he has in his deck, and perhaps even more importantly, other than just noting what units he has or potentially has access to, you can see when they tech or what they're teching. So when you get the audio cue, opponent is teching, you can see, did they go Foundry, did they go Starport, and it kind of informs you, like I said, in terms of how you're going to respond to what it is that they're building. So I'm checking right now, and I saw that he is going Foundry, okay, as opposed to the Starforge. All right. So some Scorpions coming across the map here. I'm just kind of poking and prodding, just putting a little bit of light pressure on. I was able to get some Scorpions onto his main line at the beginning of the game. Debatable as to whether that was worth it or not. I think I killed 3, maybe 4 workers for something like 6 or 7 Scorpions. Not sure if that trade is worth it, but it did put a little pressure on him.
Marching orders.
units engaged.
Iron ready.
Units reporting damage.
All right, so it took a third rallying there. Got quite a heavy commitment here coming in on his second base. Pretty good wraparound on his workers. I'm going to lose all of those Scorpions. I have every intention of losing all of those Scorpions, but there's definitely going to be some economic damage done to his second there. Attacking his third, backing off because he already has king crabs out. Those giant thick boy crabs. Backing up, they do a cleave AoE attack. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to buy myself time in space. He's chasing me with the king crabs, and they're not at my third. My foundry's a little behind. Just now finished. So me doing these sort of little runarounds, I'm trying to keep him off of my base, so I'm able to get up my own king crabs, which are coming out now.
Units engaged.
All right, I definitely have the advantage in terms of the number of tech units here. Large number of king crabs.
Units reporting damage.
Okay, yeah, and he taps out there. That was a large force that he wasn't equipped to deal with. Basically what happened there is I was able to do some run-bys, keep some pressure on him, weaken his economy a little bit. I took a much quicker third than him. His tech was a little sooner than mine. Like I said, his king crabs came out faster than mine, but he chased with his king crabs. Didn't go to my third. Didn't put pressure onto my third. So I was able to get up that larger ball of higher tech units and essentially just sort of move towards him. He committed pretty heavily into the gun bots as well. Those are those little kind of stimmy, almost marine-like units that were sort of kiting back and forth.
Iron ready. Industrial cutter standing by.
All right, so same type of opening. I'm setting up some two different groups, two different hotkeys of scorpions kind of on either side of his base, just kind of poking and prodding. Okay, so he's going recalls. That's what that purple unit is there. It's a ranged unit. It has a unique ability in that it is able to recall itself, essentially teleport itself to any base, his bases, any of his bases, even if they're under construction. Very interesting ability, very strong ability in my opinion.
Resource base warmed up and working.
Arms ready. Scurrying.
All right, so coming in right as his unit, his workers are appearing on his second, putting a little pressure on his third.
Units engaged.
So yeah, he recalled to his second, and what did I get? 3 workers. Debatable. Now he's recalling to that third. Okay, so you can just see kind of a new ability here at play. It is a core unit, the recall. Trying to keep pressure on him, keep him off my third, so I can get that tech up as well.
In the dirt, we move together.
This is a pretty classic range versus melee. I try to get us around, he recalls out, right? Recalls out to my little group that I split off to the side to harass his workers.
Command.
Units under attack.
From the suns.
Again, that was bad by me. Okay, lost six scorpions for nothing. Essentially that was
Resource base.
ill-advised. Okay, so he's taking a fourth now.
Melee engagement. Pick an efficient path. Cut the chatter. Looking for a flank. Marching orders.
Large number of recalls here.
Select the enemy. Sharp blade.
Foundry ready.
Okay, I
Units
just got my foundry. This third's gonna go down. I can't stop that. King crabs are coming out.
Base destroyed.
So he is on 4 bases. I do have some harass going on at that bottom base of his. He's recalling out, recalling to that harass, mows it down. I gotta say, I feel like recalls are a tad strong. I think the cooldown on the ability, I'm trying to micro back here a little bit. I can't. Yeah, there's too much range, too much recall. I got a destroyer out. That's that dude with the rocket launcher looking thing, which is a very nice counter to his crabs. But at this point, he's ahead economically. We're equal on tech, but he's on 4 base. I'm on 2. Yeah, so there's a little example of how the destroyers work against crabs. Very effective at taking the crabs down, but again, the number of recalls in the back, it's GG at this point essentially. Trying to do some run-bys, keep some pressure, which it's worked-ish. He left 2 destroyers behind, I pick him off, but he's too far ahead economically at this point. His production's too big.
Engine running.
Recalls in, massive number. Yeah, it's GG. So kind of a quick look at the game here too. Like I said, very, very, very fast-paced games.
Keep your head up and bounce back.
Stay tuned to the channel for future Battle Aces and Stormgate content.